Christmas break is over and done. Are you excited to be getting back to school? I am. A school break always provides just a great recharge, and then coming back to homeschool and back into your routine after a break, it just tends to feel like, yay, we get to be back into our routine, and it's almost like it's the break that helps you know how much you do love this homeschool life and this homeschool routine. So I am excited to be back to school, and I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit of a check-in today and share with you some changes that we're making and what's staying the same. So if you're new to this channel, I am Rachel. I'm a second-generation homeschooler. I homeschool together with my mom, and we have a lot of fun. We have embraced the learning as a lifestyle approach for sure. And I'm probably a little bit too nerdy about homeschool sometimes, which is why I have a homeschool YouTube channel. So you can like this video if you like the homeschool YouTube stuff, and you can subscribe to this channel, 7 and all, right down below. All right, so let's get comfortable and talk about how it's going this year and what we're changing as we're starting to the new year. So if you have watched my 9th grade and 4th grade videos that I made and posted back in August, I believe, you'll know all the curriculum that we were using. If you haven't seen those yet, I will link those above or below so you can check those out. Based on those videos, I'll talk about what's been working very well and what's changing. Now, our family has been homeschooling for about 26-ish years, so we don't actually tend to change things up as much as you might hear of other homeschoolers who are more new to this journey doing. I don't know if it's because you can't teach an old dog new tricks, or just because we've really learned what we like, and we've learned the lifestyle that we like over the past couple of decades. We know what we enjoy and what works in general, but we do make modifications at different times in the routine because every kid is a little bit different and different seasons of life are different. So let's talk about it. If you saw my videos at the beginning, you'll know that we were doing quite a few family subjects, and that was an addition for this year. We used to do quite a bit of family subjects when there were many of us still living at home. Then we got away from that as more of those of us who were close in age graduated and moved away, and just my youngest sisters who are more spread out in age remained behind. So we weren't doing so much family subjects. We tried to get a lot more into that this year. And what we're actually doing in the second semester is we're taking a step back from family subjects once more. This is one that we were doing, Route 66, Travel Through the Bible. We did this solidly through the whole first semester. There is nothing wrong with this. My mom actually loves it, and she is really picky with Bible curriculums. She thought that this was a really great overview of the whole Bible. That's what it's designed to be. Basically, you go through every book of the Bible as just a general overview so you can get the big picture. The reason that we're not continuing this is basically that we were running into an issue with family subjects, and that's something I wanted to talk about in this video, because I think if you listen to a lot of more the homeschool influencers and homeschool advice, then you'll always hear family subjects are the dream and family subjects are the goal. If you want to make your life easier, just do family subjects. It's like the cure-all for everything that ails you in your homeschool. And we have used family subjects a lot. I'm from a big family. I'm the oldest of 8 kids. Family subjects can help a lot. However, don't prioritize the goal and the dream of family subjects over what actually works with your kids and what is challenging them and allowing them to learn the most. Because the problem when you have a big age gap between different kids is that family subjects get less and less realistic. And that's what we're dealing with right now. We have a 9th grader and a 4th grader. And we also have the dynamic that the 9th grader is actually pretty advanced. She's more like a 10th or 11th grader kind of level. She's really just, she's like me, she's really nerdy. She loves schoolwork. She's just like flying through it. And the 4th grader is actually a bit lower than her natural level would have been. She started school later, so she hasn't had as much time to kind of catch up yet. So we're dealing with more than just a 5-grade age gap. It's actually a little bit more than that. And so you can have the opposite dynamic when you have a younger child who's kind of that super advanced, driven, just passionate about school and learning type. Then they can go really well with an older sibling who is just a average student, averagely interested in school. So it's not always a necessary 5 years is too much of an age gap, but you have to know your kids. And what we were finding with this and with another subject is it wasn't necessarily challenging the older one enough, although this particular one, it was still good for her. It was still good review. It was good to see the whole Bible as it was meant to be. This curriculum is specifically targeted at middle schoolers, so it was a little bit on the easy side for her. But then for the 4th grader, it was actually pretty tough with how much writing you're supposed to be doing, with actually responding to the questions at the level that this was looking for was just a little bit beyond her. So we're not going to be doing this for Bible anymore. The 9th grader is going to be continuing, and she's going to be doing the Bible Project course. They have Bible Project Classroom. She's going to be doing one of those courses together with my mom. And the younger one, I will tell you what she's doing in a minute, after I tell you what else we will not be continuing with. Mystery of History is the other subject that we were just running into that problem of, family subjects are not going to work when you have too much of an age gap. This is volume 4 of Mystery of History, and Mystery of History is designed to be done with multiple different age levels. It is specifically designed for that. But volume 1, 2, 3, 4, they're actually written on a slightly higher level with each book as far as higher comprehension level. So because this is 4, this is actually the one that is the kind of oldest out of Mystery of History. It's for the older age range of kids. If you get 1 or 2, they're written a little bit more simply and more accessible for younger kids. So what we were finding with this, well, for one thing, the 9th grader has actually already completed this whole entire history course before. She did this before a couple years ago. So to her, it was just all review anyways, so it wasn't necessarily challenging her, although it's not bad to do something again. It wasn't challenging her, and it was really tough for the 4th grader. It was a lot for her, and she wasn't getting everything, which that can be okay. But then it's like, if the older one isn't being challenged and it's a little too tough for the younger one, you're just not really hitting the mark in this. So we're changing. We're using something else that is in our homeschool library. Because when you've been homeschooling for 26 years, you hang on to some stuff. And we are pulling out an old favorite, Sonlight curriculum. We are truly, probably most at heart, a Sonlight family. We love learning through literature. We have gotten away from doing it as a family once most of the kids graduated. The 9th grader, and if you see my video, she was already doing a Sonlight all by herself, because at that age you can just hand them a Sonlight core and just let them go. So she does that all on her own. But for the younger one, we are going to be using a Sonlight 2, which is a world history focus, and Sonlight Core incorporates history, Bible, and literature. So we no longer have our old history and Bible that we were using, but we're going to be diving back into Sonlight, and I'm excited about this because I've loved Sonlight probably since I was a kid, and I was using Sonlight 2 Introduction to World History, which, by the way, if you look on the Sonlight website, they don't have this exact core anymore. This particular one is very old. But if you take good care of your books, they last for a long time, and you can use them for a lot of kids. So we're going to be diving back into this. I'll just show you a couple of the books. For Bible, in this particular year, the main Bible spine is just reading the Bible. And then this one, which is fun, the awesome book of Bible facts, and just kind of going through this and just the Bible itself throughout the year. And there's Bible memory work incorporated. For the history, the main spine for this year is A Child's History of the World, which I didn't manage to grab that one. But that's the main spine, together with the Usborne Book of World History, which I also believe this is a outdated version. It doesn't look like this anymore. and Window on the World, which is focusing on geography and different cultures around the world. So those are kind of our big spines. In Sonlight, you get to read a whole lot of real books, and I love this because you're not just like, paralyzed with indecision over there's so many great read alouds out there, what should I read? Because it just tells you, just read this one next, Ginger Pie. They've got the Aesop for children, so they'll get to go into all the fables. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited about going back into Sonlight. The reason we'd gotten away from it is because the older one could do her Sonlight on her own, and our younger, the 4th grader, when she first started in homeschool, she just really wasn't the kind of person who really could just learn from a story, sit down and listen to a book. But she's come a long way over the past couple of years with being able to just sit down and listen to a story and beginning to understand how everything works together in a story. So I'm excited to be able to share this with her now. Now that's the big change. Let me see. I was going to show you a couple of the books. Sarah, the 9th grader, is actually going to be starting a new Sonlight because she started hers at an odd time of year, so she's finishing up what she was in. Now she's going to be going into American History in Depth, which uses this series as a core for history, a history of us, and it's like 8 books. But then she gets to read all sorts of awesome books. I'm like getting jealous. The Red Badge of Courage, From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler, To Kill a Mockingbird, Peace Child, Out of the Dust. Lots of good stuff. I miss being a student, and because I just had an excuse to lie in bed and read books all the time. It's like now you try to do that in your mom. They're like, you have laundry to do and kids to watch and take care of. If you are still a homeschooled student and you are for some reason watching this video, make the most of these years. Seriously, read all the books. I did. No regrets. So, and we're continuing with a lot of the same from what I showed you in earlier videos. We finished the South America Gather Round unit in November, I believe, and we are now 4 lessons into artists. The girls are really loving artists. For their writing, what I had kind of planned to do and what has been very successfully working is all of their writing assignments. I've just been basically inspired by Gather Round. Inspired by our topics that we're going over in Gather Round, I've been having them write based on that, which since we go through the Gather Round unit slowly because we're not using it as our sole curriculum, I add in more writing assignments inspired by whatever I found interesting in that lesson. And the 9th grader is really thriving with research papers as well as creative writing assignments. I was super impressed by her work this past semester, and the 4th grader is also showing more creativity and more initiative with her writing. So I'm loving that. I love teaching writing. I love challenging them. I'm not sure that they always love the volume and the perhaps oddness of some of the assignments I give them, but I enjoy it. So artists, yes, I think we're 4 lessons in, so the girls are excited to get back to this and discover more kinds of art. I think we're having a lot of fun with that unit. I'm also adding in a few things for Chinese, which I showed you before what we're using. We're coming to the end of Chinesey. I found this workbook, which a lot of workbooks in Chinese I don't really like, but this one was actually really cool and really doable. It has both the pinyin and characters, which is nice because then I can teach the girls how to actually look up a character they don't know because they have the pinyin. When you don't have the pinyin in at all and you're an early learner and you come to a character that you don't know in Chinese, you can really feel trapped or stuck, like I have no idea how to look this up type of thing, which there are special apps you can use and all that, but it's complicated. So it's nice to have the pinyin. They've got some really fun activities in here with mixing around words, putting sentences together. And I remembered all of a sudden a podcast that I used to listen to and love, Pop-Up Chinese. When I was living in China, I listened to that all the time and really learned a lot from that. So I'm going to have my sisters start listening to that podcast probably on a daily basis. It's just like 10 to 15 minutes, and start talking to me about what they're learning from that. Because I found that I'm a little bit busy, so any kind of Chinese learning that they can do where I don't have to be totally conversing with them is great. So I think that's all my updates on our big kids homeschool for this new semester. With my preschooler, I don't really follow semesters. We are still using my Sonlight pre-K, which is just stories. He loves storybooks. I use all of our Spanish books. We get picture books from the library, our Spanish picture books. We just got 6 new Spanish picture books for Christmas, so that is awesome. And several of them are really funny and really good. I kind of didn't even know what I was buying. I was just getting the ones that were available and reasonably cheap, but we lucked out. So we still read a lot of stories. We're in Letters and Sounds 2 right now, which is the farm themed one, and he loves farms. He loves cutting and pasting, so he really loves the interactive worksheets that they have. He always wants to do more than 3 that are included with the one lesson. So I also I've shown in the past some of the other cut and paste type of worksheets I use with him, because glue sticks and scissors are life when you're 2 years old, 3 years old. They are the most exciting thing ever. He's not the biggest coloring fan. He likes to trace things, but he's not the kid who will just sit there forever and color. He will sit there forever and cut a piece of paper into a million pieces and glue the pieces to each other. He'll do that. He loves that. But we have a lot of fun with that. And I've actually been incorporating the gentle and classical preschool memory statements into our routines, and I have been loving how that works, but I'll probably go more into that in a different video, because this is long enough. You know, I know sometimes I go on too long when I get to chatting about homeschool. So let me know, what did you enjoy from this last semester? What are you changing up for the new semester? And some of your favorites, and what you're hoping to bring in more of in the new year. All right, see you. Bye.